What truly defines a champion? Is it the gold belts, the roaring crowds, or the legacy that etches itself into the history of combat sports? Or perhaps it is something quieter, pain endured in silence, sacrifices made in the shadows, and battles fought long before the cage door slams shut. Valentina Shevchenko's name resonates through the world of MMA like a sharp, undeniable gunshot in a silent cathedral. They call her the Bullet, but bullets don't bleed. She does. And yet she never flinches. From a quiet childhood in Kyrgyzstan to rising as one of the most feared female fighters on earth, Valentina's journey is not just about domination, it's about defiance, discipline, and the terrifying precision of a master. This is the story of a woman who didn't just enter the fight, she became the weapon. Born in the aftermath of the Soviet collapse in 1988, Valentina didn't come from wealth or privilege. She came from legacy. Her mother, Elena, was not just a martial artist. She was a Muay Thai world champion. Her father, Anton, served in the Soviet Navy and played professional soccer. Discipline wasn't just encouraged in the Shevchenko household, it was a way of life. At just 5 years old, Valentina stepped onto the mat, and by 12, she wasn't merely learning, she was dominating. She knocked out a 22-year-old opponent, earning herself the nickname that would haunt opponents for decades: Bullet. Her coach, Pavlo Fedotov, who still guides her to this day, saw the spark immediately. This wasn't a child prodigy. This was an unstoppable force taking shape. The Bullet's rise wasn't confined to one discipline. She absorbed them all: Taekwondo, Muay Thai, boxing, judo, and even dance. She wasn't just learning to fight, she was learning to flow. Precision in one world translated seamlessly into dominance in another. She became a symphony of violence, her movements impossibly fluid, hypnotic before they exploded into devastation. Hundreds of amateur bouts, dozens of championships, and 8 gold medals at the IFMA World Championships. Valentina collected belts like souvenirs. When she danced, whether on stage or in the cage, her movements told the same story: the quiet, deadly grace of a predator preparing to strike. At just 15, Valentina entered the world of MMA. By 18, she was finishing opponents with terrifying efficiency, but this was just the prelude to her legend. From 2003 to 2010, she ravaged the fight circuits of South America and Asia, breaking opponents with surgical strikes and rare submission techniques. In 2010, her unbeaten MMA streak was finally broken, not by a knockout or decision, but by a doctor stoppage due to a cut against veteran Liz Carmouche. It was a painful, controversial loss, but it was the last time Valentina would be overlooked. That loss lit a fire within her, a fire that would fuel the inferno of her UFC career. After that setback, Valentina retreated from the MMA spotlight to refocus and rebuild. For the next few years, she dominated Muay Thai once again, defeating top fighters like Joanna Jędrzejczyk multiple times. Titles piled up: WMC champion, K1 champion, South American Muay Thai kingpin. By 2015, the call came: the UFC. While most fighters dream of stepping into the octagon, Valentina stepped in as if it were already her throne. On short notice, she took on Sarah Kaufman and dismantled her with frightening calm, though the judges, a flawed human element, turned what was a dominant, unanimous decision into a split. But Valentina had arrived. In March of 2016, Valentina faced Amanda Nunes, the reigning queen of the bantamweights. On paper, she was the underdog, but inside the octagon, Valentina was unshaken. Nunes attacked early with power and ground control, but in the third round, Shevchenko came alive. Calm, methodical, lethal. Although she lost the decision, the world took notice. What was most telling, though, was how Nunes looked at the end. Exhausted, confused, almost afraid. She had won the fight, but Valentina had cracked the code. It wasn't just a loss, it was a foreshadowing. And that moment lit a fire in Valentina's heart that only grew stronger with each passing fight. But the path to greatness is often steeped in hardship. Just weeks before a 2016 clash with Holly Holm, Valentina's coach Pavlo was shot in a robbery attempt. The bullet nearly claimed his life. Most would have walked away, but not Valentina. She stayed by his side, watching him fight for his life. When he regained consciousness, his first words to her were, "Go fight. I'll be in your corner." And fight she did. Against the world champion boxer Holm, Valentina put on a clinic, making Holm look ordinary with every calculated strike. Every movement in the cage was a message. I am still coming. Momentum built quickly. Next, Valentina faced grappling sensation Juliana Peña. They said Valentina couldn't handle the ground game. She proved them wrong by choking Peña unconscious in a display of mastery. That submission earned her a second shot at Nunes for the bantamweight belt. The rematch at UFC 215 in 2017 was a brutal, razor-thin battle. 5 rounds of tactical violence. Valentina danced between bullets, fired back with counters, and defended takedowns with a wall of resistance. Despite what was arguably a dominant performance, the judges gave it to Nunes. Valentina's anger was palpable. She didn't hit me once, she said. The world debated, but one truth emerged. The bullet had never looked sharper. But Valentina's real legacy began when she moved to the flyweight division. It wasn't about chasing belts anymore, it was about building an empire. Her flyweight debut was nothing short of a massacre. Priscila Cachoeira had no chance, as Valentina took her down, beat her senseless, and nearly choked her unconscious. Then came the title bout against Joanna Jedrzejczyk, her old Muay Thai rival. Critics said Joanna's speed would be a problem. It wasn't. Valentina shut her down at every range, standing, clinch, and ground. She didn't just win the title, she delivered a message. I am the queen now. Jessica Eye was the first to challenge her crown, and she left the cage on a stretcher. The head kick knockout Valentina delivered still reverberates in highlight reels, a chilling warning to anyone who dared to challenge her. Next came Liz Carmouche, her old nemesis, and Valentina wiped away the ghosts of 2010 with a flawless victory. Then it was Katlyn Chookagian, outclassed everywhere, stopped in 3 rounds. Jessica Andrade, a tank of a fighter, was taken down and broken. Jennifer Maia? Controlled. Lauren Murphy? Destroyed. And then, for the first time in years, came a real test. Taila Santos. Santos pushed Valentina harder than anyone before her, but Valentina survived, fought through adversity, and claimed a gritty win. Still, whispers began to circulate. Was the bullet slowing down? Doubt is the most dangerous opponent a champion can face. It's silent, invisible, and relentless. After her narrow win over Santos, the world began to wonder. Had Valentina's reign reached its end? Was the bullet finally starting to slow? Enter Alexa Grasso, a calm, skilled striker from Mexico. Many saw her as the next victim. But when they met at UFC 285, what unfolded was no ordinary fight. Grasso boxed brilliantly, outstriking Valentina in the first round. Valentina fought back in the second, grappling, grinding, dominating. But then, Valentina made a mistake, a spinning back kick that backfired. Grasso saw it, timed it perfectly, and locked in a rear naked choke. The bullet had no escape. Tap. Silence. The arena froze. Grasso had done the unthinkable. Valentina Shevchenko, the bullet, had been submitted. But in defeat, Valentina did not crumble. Her eyes didn't scream regret, they calculated. The fight wasn't over, it was only interrupted. She came back hungry. The rematch wasn't just about the title, it was about redemption. It was about pride. It was about the silence after failure and the roar of coming back stronger. This time, Valentina was colder, sharper, faster. The fight was brutal. Round after round, they exchanged dominance, trading submissions, grappling, and strikes. In the end, the scorecards read 48-47 Shevchenko, 48-47 Grasso, and 47-47. A split draw. And with it, the belt stayed with Grasso. But the fight didn't break Valentina, it rebuilt her. Even without the title, Valentina remained a legend. Dana White called her one of the most dominant champions the UFC had ever seen. Joe Rogan hailed her as the most technically skilled female fighter on the planet. But Valentina's legacy wasn't defined by gold. It was forged in the blood, sweat, and bones of 2 decades of discipline and sacrifice. She had broken limitations, proved that a woman could be both a surgeon in precision and a storm in power. And now, as we await her next battle, we are left with one question. Will she rise again, or has the bullet fired its last? The answer is yet to be written. But one thing is certain. Valentina Shevchenko's name will echo forever.